It's Friday, December 29th, 2017. It's that time of the hour for your favorite NFL and college football program. Welcome to the Week 17 New Year's Eve edition of the Blitz Zone. Hi, everybody. My name is Eric Rosen, and I'm coming to you live from the studios of CTV in Staten Island, New York. And we have so much to get into and so little time to do it in. So, let's get into the news of the week. As we all know, the Pittsburgh Steelers just a few weeks ago let go James Harrison. But guess what? He found a new destination to call home. And if you thought that the Pittsburgh Steelers were going to like this, well, of course not. If you thought any person was going to like his new destination except James and his team, of course not. Well, that team, the New England Patriots. The current number one overall seed in the AFC playoff side of things, that's where he's headed to, folks. This is unbelievable that he's going to be there. He even tweeted, "Thankfully, I'm not the oldest person in the room, hashtag at age 40, referring, of course, to quarterback Tom Brady, the bionic man, as I always like to refer him to, because there's nobody that does as well as Tom Brady at his age. And it's just unbelievable. He leads the league in overall passing yards, and now you got somebody like James Harrison on the defense who, yes, was played very little times. So you know what? Maybe he's got a lot of gas left in the tank for this postseason run, and everybody's hoping to see the Steelers, Patriots again in the AFC title game. Wouldn't that be something? James Harrison against the team he's been with throughout his entire career. Doing the thing he always wanted to do but couldn't do because he was on the same team as the Steelers. You know, that is sacking Ben Roethlisberger. Well, this time, all hell could break loose, and he may get his chance if they face each other in the AFC title game. Good luck to you, James. All the best to you. Now, in some other news this past week, we saw a person who is a cancer survivor by the name of David Quinsbury make his NFL debut for the Houston Texans on Christmas Day in their unfortunate 34-6 loss. This was a guy who had a 3-year battle with non-Hodgkin's T-lymphoblastic lymphoma. Congratulations on overcoming this terrible disease that has afflicted so many people, loved ones, and people that I've known and friends of mine, and and people that and it affects us all. It's a terrible thing to happen, and to see somebody to be able to overcome this, to survive cancer, and be able to make his dreams come true by playing football. These are the type of stories that really, that they're the best type of stories. And on Christmas Day of all days, to be able to make his debut. Man. Well, David, me at the Blitz Zone, applaud you for overcoming this and winning this battle against cancer and being able to play. So all the best to you in the future. As for the New York Giants, got a bit of good news today. They have a new general manager. That's right, the former Carolina Panthers and former New York Giants director of pro player personnel, Dave Gettleman. He was the favorite in the search for the new GM led by Ernie Accorsi, and now he is going to be the new Giants general manager. At the current moment, the Giants are at 2-13, projected to have the number 2 overall pick. Yeah, probably shouldn't be drinking soda, but anyway, they are projected to have the number 2 pick overall in the 2018 NFL Draft in April. But let's see what Gettleman does with that pick. A lot of people are hoping that he gets a quarterback like Josh Rosen. A lot of people projecting from UCLA, maybe Sam Darnold from USC. We'll see. It remains to be seen what will happen. And as for the New York Jets and some news, we found out recently today that head coach Todd Bowles and general manager Mike McCagnon will be having another 2 years with the organization. That's right. They each signed 2-year contract extensions, keeping them on the team together through the 2020 season. It wasn't really the quantity of wins, but the quality of these games that decided their fates. And it looks like Woody Johnson or the Johnson family were happy with the way they conduct themselves, despite the fact that this is looking like a 5-11 season come Sunday when they have to play the Patriots. But anyway, congratulations to the two of them. Best of luck in next year. Hopefully they will turn things around. We'll get more than 5 wins next season. Please, we need a 2015-like season to take place, except this time we make the playoffs, not miss it on Week 17. Now to the playoff picture. As we have done throughout the last few weeks on this show, let's start with the AFC side of things. The Patriots are the number 1 overall seed. They clinched the AFC East. They have a first-round bye. All they have to do is win against the Jets this Sunday, and they have home field advantage throughout the playoffs. Here's the team with the number 2 seed, the Pittsburgh Steelers, also first-round bye, and the AFC North champions at 12-3. If the Steelers beat the Browns, which won't really be an if, that's going to happen just by how much is the question I should be asking. If they, when they beat the Browns, and if the Patriots lose to the Jets, the Steelers can actually take over the number 1 overall seed in the AFC playoff side of things, and the Patriots could be knocked down to the number 2. The Jacksonville Jaguars will likely finish with the 3rd overall seed. They are the AFC South champions the first time since 1999, in the early days of their organization at 10-5 right now. And with a victory this week against Tennessee, well, it'll be their 11th win. It won't get them to number 2 because, unfortunately, they lost to the 49ers 44-33 last weekend, the highest scoring game of Week 16, in fact. Kansas City Chiefs are locked into the number 4 slot, are the AFC West champions for the 2nd year in a row at 9-6. They have a game this week, so it really doesn't, against the Denver Broncos. It really doesn't matter whether they win or lose. They will still have the 4th slot. Now, what really matters in the AFC, besides the number 1 overall seed, who will win the final 2 spots in the wild card side of things on the AFC? Will it be the Ravens? Will the Ravens clinch that number 5th seed, which they currently hold at 9-6 with a victory against Cincinnati at home? What about the Titans hosting the Jaguars at 8-7, needing a victory, and they are in? But here are the teams on the outside looking in. At number 7, the LA Chargers at 8-7. All they need is a victory and a Titans loss, and they will get in. The Bills at the number 8 seed, 8-7. Not only do they need a victory in Miami on New Year's Eve, they need a Chargers loss against the Raiders and a Titans loss to the Jaguars, and they are in. On the NFC side of things, the Philadelphia Eagles have claimed the number 1 overall seed. They are 13-2 with the best record in the NFL, with a win by the skin of their teeth victory Christmas night against the Raiders, 19-10. The Vikings are in the number 2 seed as the NFC North champions at 12-3. With a victory, they will get a first-round bye. Then you got the LA Rams at 11-4 with the 3rd overall seed. And even if they do win and the Vikings lost, the Vikings had the tiebreaker over the Rams because of the Vikings' victory earlier this season in Minnesota. But they are the NFC West champions. They had the 49ers coming to visit them at the Coliseum to end the year. So maybe the 49ers will get their 5th win in a row with Jimmy G at the helm. The Saints, on the other hand, the NFC South, leading the NFC South, but not the champions yet. They need a victory in Tampa Bay, and they clinch the division. The Panthers are in the 5th slot, already clinched a playoff berth. They're same record as the Saints, but the Saints have the tiebreaker with the victories, with both victories the Saints had over the Panthers. If the Panthers beat the Falcons and the Saints lose to the Buccaneers, the Panthers clinch the NFC South. The Falcons have the number 6 slot and the number 2 wildcard spot at 9-6. They haven't clinched it yet. They need a victory in Atlanta at home against the Panthers, and they're in. Now, the only team remaining in the hunt going to Week 17 is Seattle Seahawks at 9-6. They have the Arizona Cardinals coming to visit them in the Emerald City. The Cardinals have won 3 games in a row in Seattle over the Seahawks. Will it be number 4 to end the Seahawks season? Or if the Seahawks win with a Falcons loss to the Panthers, the Seahawks can sneak into the number 6 slot and be in their 6th consecutive playoff appearance. And that is the playoff picture for this final week of the NFL season. A lot of complicated scenarios, a lot of crazy things that can take place, but that's the beauty of the NFL and this final week of the season. Now, let's recap the week. That was Week 16 in the National Football League, starting in Arizona. And boy, oh boy, was this not a good game whatsoever. If you look at the Cardinals, man, they added a three-pointer with a Phil Dawson 21-yard chip shot with 5:29 left in the first quarter. Giants get a chance to drive the ball midfield. Manning, do you think he looks to see Antoine Bethea move from his safety spot? No, of course he doesn't. He gets picked off, and unfortunately, Evan Ingram had an injured rib on that pass, and he didn't return for the rest of the game. Arizona, of course, starting at their own 21, go 79 yards in 11 plays. Roughing the passer penalty by Olivier Vernon on 3rd and 3. And Larry Fitzgerald gets a 13-yard pass from Drew Stanton, making it 10-0 with about a minute left in the second quarter. They go into the second half. They have a nice lead. Blaine Gabbert, thank God didn't play in this game for the Cardinals, because after 5 starts, he just was terrible last week. So this time they gave it to Drew Stanton, and at least he got a 13-yard pass to Fitzgerald. He got a 15-yard even to John Brown. Yes, he was intercepted twice, but Manning, this is the worst part of the game right here. They're down 16-0. They still need some points to get back in this game, and what happens, and this is the worst possible thing, Antoine Bethea, now Deion Buchanan strips Manning of the ball, and Robert Nkemdiche picks the ball up, goes 21 yards for a fumble recovery touchdown. They lose 23-0. Larry Fitzgerald had a great day. 9 catches, 119 yards, and he threw a 21-yard pass to Jaron Brown. First completed pass in 3 career attempts. The Falcons, yes, they're out of the playoffs, but they're trying every which way to give Bruce Arians what could be his final season a nice magic carpet ride, as opposed to the Giants, who are on the downward spirals as usual. The Falcons, of course, needing a victory to at least have an outright shot of clinching the NFC South over the Saints. But here's the kicker: they're in New Orleans. Not exactly an easy environment for them to do that. Let's go to the game. They're down 6-0. Atlanta has a chance of at least getting the lead, and yet Matt Ryan throws one of the craziest plays that gets intercepted. I mean, and talk about crazy interception. This was on Marshawn Lattimore's backside, and yet he still is able to get to intercept the ball. Eventually sets up the Saints to double up their lead, and they're up 13-0. Then early in the fourth quarter, Freeman, they're later in the game, of course. Ted Ginn eventually gets a 54-yard touchdown pass after that interception from Drew Brees. Let's go later in the game. It's the fourth quarter. Saints are up 20-3. Devonta Freeman has a chance to at least get some points on the board. It's 4th and goal from the 1-yard line. Unfortunately, he stopped short. And on this particular drive for the Falcons, Julio Jones looked like he caught a touchdown pass, was unable to pull the ball across the goal line to make the catch. And yet, that's what Atlanta thought they had a touchdown. They challenged the spot, and the call was upheld that he didn't cross the goal line. So, that's why they had to go for the 4th down. Unfortunately, Freeman wasn't able to convert. So they're still down 20-3. Then Devonta Freeman, again, gets a fumble inside the 2-yard line earlier in the game, and just things could not get any worse in the third quarter. Unbelievable. Manti Te'o, in fact, recovered on that fumble from Devonta Freeman. The Falcons end up losing to the Saints 23-13. Drew Brees is now the third person in the 70,000 passing yard club. Congratulations, joining Peyton Manning and Brett Favre, a future Hall of Famer and a current Hall of Famer. And we all know where this is going. That's for sure. And the Saints right now, after 3 straight 7-9 seasons, now with a chance to clinch their division this week, all they need to do is beat Tampa, and that's it. Colts right now, and the Ravens, Saturday night. or a Saturday 4 o'clock game. Joe Flacco and company. They kick a field goal on their first possession. Baltimore blocks a Vinatieri field goal. Ravens go 71 yards, eventually culminating with a 6-yard touchdown pass to Michael Campanaro. It's 10-0. It's not over for the Colts. They answered back with a Jacoby Brissett 14-yard pass to Frank Gore, making it 10-7. Then the Falcons answered back with a 39-yard field goal from Justin Tucker, making it 13-7 at the half. Eventually, Tucker connects again from 36 yards out to make it 16-7 with about 5.5 minutes gone in the third quarter. Then Vinatieri gets a pair of field goals, making it 16-13 on the game. So they're trailing 16-13. The Colts are trailing 16-13. Then basically in the third quarter, Joe Flacco throws a huge 4-yard touchdown pass to Max Williams with about 8:40 left in the game, making it 23-13. Colts get another field goal from Vinatieri. It's 23-16. Anthony Walker blocks a Ravens punt. The Colts get the ball back at the 27-yard line with 2:36 to go with a chance to tie the game and force overtime. They move it to the Baltimore 10 on a third. Then comes a third down sack and a fourth down incompleted pass from Jacoby Brissett. Clock is ran out. 23-16 is the victory for the Ravens. All they need now is a victory at home against the Bengals, and they're in. The Bills go into New England. Game is tied at 3-3. And this is the crazy part about this game. Tom Brady throws yet a pick six, a 19-yard to Jordan Poyer on a pass intended for Kenny Britt. It's 10-3. Eventually, things are tied up on a 75-yard 9-play drive by the Patriots, culminating with a 17-yard one-handed grab by Rob Gronkowski to make it 10-all. Of course, Gostkowski gets a field goal for the Patriots, 13-10. Bills get the ball back on the ensuing possession. Tyrod Taylor throws what looks like the go-ahead 3-yard touchdown pass in the right corner of the end zone to Kelvin Benjamin, both feet in bounds. Well, that's what they thought at least. Of course, the referees have to look at the play as they do with all scoring plays and turnovers, and they saw that he was juggling the ball, only able to get one of his feet down and not both before the completed catch. So therefore, it was an incomplete pass, and the Bills had to settle for a 23-yard field goal to tie it up at the half. Of course, second half doesn't go the Bills' way. They are only able to score 3 points on the day, while the Patriots outscore them, have 24 points, including 3 rushing touchdowns by one by Dion Lewis, and one, of course, by Mike Gillislee. By the way, Dion Lewis had a career 129-yard rushing performance on the day, and Mike Gillislee, the former Buffalo Bill, had a 1-yard touchdown run. They ended up winning 37-16. Buccaneers, Panthers. Buckle your seatbelts. This was a crazy game. So crazy that the Panthers managed only 78 yards in the first half, the lowest output in the Cam Newton era since he took over in 2012. Just in that first half alone. This is the best part of the game, though. Final 3 minutes. Panthers go on this amazing drive where Newton completes 4 of 7 passes for 52 yards. Shotgun formation. From the Tampa 2. The ball snapped to Cam Newton. He fumbles the ball, picks it up, races across the goal line, gets the go-ahead touchdown with 35 seconds to go. The Panthers beat the Buccaneers 22-19. Cleveland Browns, losers of 14 straight at the time. Let's make it 15. Why? They played the Chicago Bears. Not really. The reason why is they are the Cleveland Browns. They always find a way to lose. But yeah, this week they were playing Chicago Bears in the city of Chicago. And twice, not once, but twice, did Deshaun Kaiser turn it over with interceptions in the red zone. One on a wide open player, Kyle Fuller, in the end zone. He got it to him. Then the other one just was Mukamura recovers a fumble in the end zone. Wink, wink, how bad that was. Oh, wow. It amazes me, Deshaun Kaiser. The 2 interceptions. He now leads the league in his rookie year with 21 turnovers. It's 6-3. It looks like Myles Garrett, the number 1 overall pick at Texas A&M, selected by the Browns in the 2017 draft. It looks like he got a 42-yard pick six off of Mitchell Trubisky. It's called back because Carl Nassib goes offside. So the Bears are able to take advantage of that miscue, and Jordan Howard gets a 16-yard rushing touchdown to double their lead to 13-3. Eventually, later in the game, Mitchell Trubisky on a 12-play drive, culminating with a Jordan Howard 8-yard run on 4th and 1 from the 15. Well, Trubisky gets a rushing touchdown on a 4-yard draw, making it 20-3. That's the score. The Browns are hapless, hopeless, pathetic, and just overall a disaster, while the Bears, for at least 1 week, despite their 3rd straight double-digit loss season, get a reprieve. The Lions, going to the Queen City, that is Cincinnati, to take on the Bengals. They need a win and some help going to Week 17 in order to continue their faint playoff hopes. I really got to stop drinking soda on live show. Next week, that will be a promise. Anyway, so the Lions are playing the Bengals. Matthew Stafford and company need a victory despite the injuries on their team. Well, let's go later into the game. Tion Green gets a 5-yard touchdown to put the Lions up 17-16 in the 4th quarter. Cincinnati goes on the ensuing drive. The Lions, of course, extend Cincinnati's drives on terrible defensive penalties, leading to the Randy Bullock go-ahead field goal with about 4:42 to go. And then Gio Bernard breaking free for a 12-yard touchdown run with about 1:54 to go. The Bengals beat the Lions 26-17, officially eliminating the Lions from playoff contention. And at least the Bengals were able to give Marvin Lewis a win in what was likely his final home game as the head coach of the Bengals. It's probably looking more and more that Marvin Lewis will be gone after just 12 years, second longest tenure behind Bill Belichick, longest active in the NFL. Now, the Seahawks and Dallas, both 8-7 teams, both 8-6 teams, both teams needing a victory to keep their slim playoff hopes alive. The loser would be officially eliminated. Well, Justin Coleman gets what looks like the go-ahead pick six from 30 yards off of Dak Prescott, making it a 14-9 lead. Eventually, the Seahawks are able to burn the Cowboys 21-12. Cowboys managed only field goals by Dan Bailey on the entire day. Dez Bryant, how about the fact that he fumbles on a catch? He has the audacity after dropping the first pass of the game to yell at Miles Austin for his miscues. Like, who is he? You're supposed to be the mature veteran on the team, yet you're acting like a petulant child like that? Come on, man. That's just wrong. That is just wrong in every way. Well, anyway, the Cowboys lose 21-12. Dak Prescott had a terrible day with interceptions. Despite the return of Ezekiel Elliott from his 6-game suspension, did have 94 yards on the ground. Didn't matter. Now the Cowboys going to a long off season with so many questions to answer. The Broncos, already eliminated from the playoffs, against another team in a similar boat, the Redskins. Kirk Cousins, the dilemma. Do they keep him or does he stay or does he go? Like that classic 80s song. Not that I'm going to try and sing it, but anyway, Kirk Cousins, who is looking like he stands to make at least $30+ million next year, had 3 touchdown passes on day. Jameson Crowder, Josh Doxson, Vernon Davis threw to 8 different receivers, 6 of which had 1+ reception. He was a yard shy of 300 yards in the game, and the fact that they had the 3rd most yards over a Denver defense with 386 total yards on the game. Unbelievable. And they were 78 yards from not allowing a touchdown for the 2nd game in a row. Would have been the most consecutive games in that since the 1970 AFL-NFL merger. The fact that they've clamped down on the Cardinals and the Broncos these last 2 games as opposed to the previous 2 games where they were giving up 68 points. And Brock Osweiler doing what he does best, turning the ball over twice for Denver. 27-11 being the result. Vikings, Packers, Saturday night. Frigid temperatures at Lambeau Field. The Vikings, of course, get a 4-yard pass from Case Keenum to Stephon Diggs. eventually winning 16-0. They're still in the race for that number 2 slot. Pittsburgh Steelers, Christmas, 4 o'clock game in Houston. Ben Roethlisberger gets a 2-touchdown day. How about the fact that Roethlisberger throws a 5-yard pass to Justin Hunter on the day? Then, this is what kills me. The Texans have a chance to get some points on the board. Alfred Brute has a great 48-yard run that gets them to the Pittsburgh 18. Then they eventually get to the 1-yard line of the Steelers on second down later in the drive. Then later on, it culminates with a T.J. Yates interception in the end zone. Pittsburgh eventually added a 1-yard touchdown run from Roosevelt Nix. Then another field goal by Chris Boswell. They were up 20-0 at the half. They ended up winning 34-6. And the only good thing about this game for the Texans was his leaping, acrobatic 3-yard touchdown reception by DeAndre Hopkins, where he tips the ball in his hands and he's able to corral it with both feet down when he fell out of bounds. 13th NFL touchdown reception, best in the league on the year. The only good thing about the Texans, the Steelers though are in the hunt right now for that first round bye. Had they lost that game, and if the Jacksonville Jaguars would have won this week, the Jaguars could have been in position to leap over the Steelers and get a first round bye due to the 39 victory the Jaguars had over the Steelers earlier in the season. That also included 5 interceptions off of Roethlisberger. Well, speaking of the Jaguars, they go into San Francisco in the Golden City, Santa Clara, against Jimmy G. That is Jimmy Garoppolo, who goes into this game with 3 consecutive victories. Probably one of the hottest teams right now in the month of December in the NFL, and they just got scorching hot with a 2-touchdown performance from Jimmy G, including a rushing touchdown on the day, and huge contributions by Carlos Hyde, Matt Breida, 128 total rushing yards combined with 2 touchdowns. The 49ers beat the Jaguars 44-33. Blake Bortles, 3 interceptions on the day, despite 2 touchdowns. It worries me about the Jaguars. When the defense is not playing the way it should be and the running game is not where it needs to be, this worries me that Blake Bortles is not, you can't really count on him. He's very Jekyll and Hyde. He could have a performance where he doesn't turn the ball over, and then he has games like this against a team that they should be able to beat. Come on, Jacksonville. I expected a lot better from this performance, especially from the defense. But Bortles did get 382 yards, career high, but they still lost. Dolphins going to Kansas City. Kansas City needs a victory, and they clinch the division. Well, they get that and then some. Miami had one of the most pitiful days, 2 turnovers, 0 of 2 in the red zone. No, 0, zilch, third down. And yet Casey had over 400 total yards, 8 of 16 on third down. And Miami had committed 11 penalties for 75 yards on the day. Tyreek Hill had 6 catches of 109 yards. Harrison Butker converts 5 field goals. Kareem Hunt goes on a 91-yard rushing performance and a 304-yard performance by Alex Smith. And 2 big turnovers by Marcus Peters of the Chiefs secondary. Dolphins lose 29-13. The Jets have the Chargers visiting them at the Meadowlands in the final home game of the year for the Jets. I was thinking about going to the game because the tickets were pretty cheap on StubHub. They were like $7, in fact, which is something. Well, it was Christmas Eve, and not many people wanted to go to a game where there was nothing on the line for the Jets. But for those people that did brave the weather, I wish I could have been there with you. But at the same time, you know what? I didn't want to brave the weather with you. I wanted to be at home in comfort. Well, anyway, the LA Chargers go out of the gate with a 7-0 lead in the first half on a 3-yard touchdown play on an inside slant route pass to Antonio Gates in the middle of the